Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. An old man named Henry Voiser lives alone in Paris. A girl named Constance lives in a town a bit far from Paris, who is taking her driving test for the 5th time. But this time, she is also finding it difficult to pass. She helps her father at his workplace, but she wants to go to Paris away from the shop, and her father is not happy about this. Constance was looking for a house to stay in Paris, and while looking for a house, she came across Henry, who was behaving strangely due to old age. Henry's son had decided to rent the room in that house, but Henry did not want any tenant. Constance notices a piano in that house, which no one is allowed to play. Constance liked that house, but she finds Henry rude, and she understood that Henry did not want to make her a tenant. He started looking for excuses to say no to Constance. After leaving Henry's house, Constance starts looking for a room somewhere else. She had an affair with a married man named Arthur. And one day, while spending time with him, she found out that she had found a room for rent in Henry's house. Her dream of living in Paris was coming true, but she was disappointed because Arthur was glad to see her go. A few days later, after saying goodbye to her mother and brother, Constance left for Paris. And as soon as she arrived at Henry's house, she was given a book in which the rules of living in the house were written. And the first rule was that no one would wear Henry's slippers. That night, Constance found out that Henry did not like her daughter-in-law, Valerie. He told Constance the same thing and told her that Valerie was a crazy woman and that she wanted to put him in a nursing home. A few days later, sitting alone at home, Constance thought about playing the piano. She had learned to play the piano when she was a child, but had stopped doing so. Henry did not like Constance playing the piano and asked her to leave the house. Somehow, Constance convinced him, but she did not even have money to pay the rent. After thinking about it for a while, Henry said that he did not want money, but in exchange for her to live in that house, Constance would have to do one thing for him. He wanted her to help him break up Paul's marriage and trap him in her love. Constance did not want to do all this at all, but Henry said that if she did this, her 6-month rent would be forgiven. Thinking about this, when Constance left the house, she saw a bar where a waitress was needed. She told a boy named Matthew that she needed that job and got it right away. The next morning, Henry's son Paul came to meet Constance. Paul knew that his father did not say good things about him. Paul had brought some medicine for Henry, and he wanted Constance to take care of him, because as he grew older, his illness was also getting worse. As soon as Henry came back, he started making fun of Paul, and Paul had to leave from there. Henry was happy to think that Constance had started trying to get closer to Paul. Constance started working at the bar from the next day. Apart from completing her studies, she also tried to make friends with Henry. But she was never good at studying, so she was worried. Henry had invited Paul to his house, and Constance was cooking to impress him. After a while, Paul and Valerie came home, and after talking to Valerie, Constance understood why Henry didn't like her. She is really a shrewd woman, so it was easy for Constance to work for Henry. She started flirting with Paul and started trying to get close to him, and their conversations made the shy Paul happy. After a while, they talked about the piano that is in Henry's house. That piano used to belong to Henry's wife, so he doesn't want to sell that piano or let anyone play it. Because of these things, he had an argument with Paul. Because of the argument, Henry asked Constance to play the Hearing Constance's song. Henry started crying. Valerie thought that he didn't like the song, so he cried. But Paul told her that he heard the song and remembered his wife and started crying. Valerie was talking about food at that moment, but Paul knew that it would be better for him to go from there. The next day, Constance went to college, and when she saw her result, she found out that she had failed again. Crying, she started to go back home and tried to divert her attention. But she started to think that she couldn't do anything in life anymore. A few days later, Valerie came to Henry's house to get utensils. When Constance got sick, she vomited on Valerie's utensils. Constance started crying in front of Henry and Valerie while talking about her misfortune. She couldn't go back home because she didn't want to work in her father's shop. At that time, Henry told her that she should do what she was interested in. She likes to play. Constance played the piano, But because of a teacher at school, she had to quit, and her father never supported her. At Henry and Valerie's urging, Constance sang the song she had written, and Henry praised her for the first time. Constance wanted to know about Henry's wife and found out that she died by falling out of the window 30 years ago. Henry has been alone ever since. Constance laughed. Valerie thought that she liked Paul, and after hearing this, Constance tried to talk to Henry. Henry believed that for years, Valerie had been with Paul only for money. But Constance knew that she really loved Paul, so she refused to work for Henry and told her to leave the house. The next day, she returned home, but she found that her room was now being converted into an office. Because of all this, she told her parents that she has passed and that she had to return to Paris the same day. That night, she had to return to Henry's house. In her helplessness, she had to do the work of entertaining Paul. And to move forward with this plan, she started asking Henry about Paul. On one hand, she had lost hope for a good life. So on the other hand, Henry started trying to enroll her in a music school. A few days later, Constance started following Paul and started to attract him towards her. After asking Henry about Paul's likes and dislikes, she kept using that information, and Paul started to feel that their likes and dislikes were the same. Paul couldn't understand that this was all a drama, and as soon as he saw it, he started to like Constance. As soon as she got the chance, Constance said that she wanted to start a relationship with Paul. But seeing the age difference that Paul refused, Constance started to hate herself for this drama. But Henry said that as soon as Paul fell in love with her, she has to stop things there. She just has to break up Paul's marriage. A few days later, Matthew told Constance that he wanted to go on tour with her. But Constance was not paying attention to Matthew, but to a DJ named Simon. And seeing this, Matthew walked away from her. Constance's relationship with Simon began. But just at that time, Paul told her that he has started liking her too. And now he wanted to start a relationship with her. Now Paul was after Constance. He went to that club with Constance where Matthew works as a DJ. And in that club, Constance found out that Simon had forgotten her. While returning home, Constance said that her life was not good, but Paul made her feel better. And that night, he was happy to think that he has found Constance. Paul stayed out of the house for the whole night, and because of this, Valerie got worried. That night, she understood that Paul was cheating on her, and she got proof of this too. Henry's plan was successful, and Valerie left the house. Even after 2 days, Paul did not talk to Constance. One night, Constance came to know that Henry had applied for admission to the London School of Music, and had also recommended Constance to a very famous musician. One day, Paul came to meet Constance again. Constance told him that whatever happened between them, she wants to forget it, and now she has found another guy who is the same age as her. Paul was heartbroken, because along with Valerie, he lost Constance too. Not only that, the next day his lawyer called him to the court because Valerie wanted to divorce him now. Everything was about to go wrong. That was when Valerie called Paul. That night, he came to know that Valerie was pregnant. With this news, Paul's marriage was fixed again. But when she told this news to Henry, he was not happy at all, and he started asking whether he wanted to keep that child or not. Paul was disappointed with his father's reaction, and he told Henry that when Valerie tells him this news, he will have to give a better reaction. Otherwise, Paul will never talk to him in his life. Paul also told this news to Constance, and he said that he is happier now than he was before in life. Constance was also happy now, but one day, his father found out that she failed the exam, and that's why he called her back to his home. When Constance told this news to Henry, he said that a father should not take away happiness from his children, but Henry himself was trying to take away happiness from his son. And Constance also told him the same thing. At that time, Henry was preventing Constance from drinking. And he said that the reason for his wife's death was alcohol or due to intoxication. She fell down the building. The next morning, Constance began to prepare to go home, and then Valerie and Paul came to meet her. For many hours, the three of them waited for Henry, and when he returned home, Valerie told him about her son who was to be born. Henry pretended to be happy for Paul's happiness, but for a long time, he could not bear this drama. It was time for Constance to leave. And before she left, Henry told her that she should not wait to fulfill her dreams until old age. Hearing this, Constance went to her father and clearly refused to go home. She said that she wanted to be a musician, and that was why she would stay in Paris. At first, her father did not listen to her, but then he understood that Constance was stubborn like him. In the end, Henry's loneliness also disappeared forever. For months, she stayed in the same house and began to prepare for the music exam. Working hard day and night, he made her own song, and the time came to leave for London. Henry was sure that Constance would succeed, and he kept supporting her as he used to support his wife. As soon as she arrived at the London School of Music, Constance started preparing for the last time, and soon the day of the exam came, and Constance managed to pass a few rounds of that exam. A few weeks later, Henry's death was reported, and when she went home, Paul told her that Henry was happy in his last days because he also saw his grandson, and Constance had also moved towards success. Constance said that she had failed in the last round, and then Paul handed over Henry's house to her, because now for a few months, Constance will have to stay in Paris. Along with the house, he also gave Constance a last letter from Henry, which was written for Constance. In that letter, he wrote an advice for Constance and said that he has forgotten all his grievances after meeting his grandson. He advised Constance to never give up. And with this advice, Constance started preparing for her next exam. This movie ends here. My family, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thanks.